is time to start thinking bigger. I am here and I'm going to interview Jerry, who has done over 1,500 transactions, and we're going to break it all down so you know exactly what he does to do so many deals. Not only deals, but huge deals as well. Check this out.
Ain't nothing gonna stop this fire.
I can't believe his business is so incredible, and if I can do this, every single one of you can do this. Every single one of you.
Something higher. Ain't nothing gonna stop this fire.
Everybody, it is Brent Daniels, and I am here with Jerry Norton.
Good to be here.
And I'm sure if you are on YouTube, you have seen this guy because he's got one of the most popular, one of the most impactful YouTube channels on about real estate in our space, in our industry. And that's Flipping Mastery TV. We'll put it somewhere here. But you've done an unbelievable job of over years and years and years really educating people on how to get their first deals, how to flip properties, and how to do bigger deals, right?
Yeah, we've got now over 400 videos, all on wholesaling and flipping. So
it's incredible.
A lot of work.
It's incredible. Not only that, so let's dig into you a little bit. Let's give them 2 minutes of who you are, how you started out, a little bit about your background, because it's incredible. Because you have a big family, you've got a lot of things going on. So tell everybody about you.
Yeah, so started out in Detroit, was working minimum wage for a construction company, did underground construction, digging holes basically, and got married really early. I was like 21, started a family, had a few kids, and realized, man, I'm just not cutting it, just not doing it for my family, for my kids. And so I really wanted something better, Brent. I mean, this is kind of everybody's story, right, that gets into real estate. And so I found real estate. I started wholesaling, did kind of the, driving for dollars in Detroit. But I was so scared about, what it cost to do deals, and that I went to like the bottom of the bottom. I mean, like $5,000 houses is what I started wholesaling.
Sure.
But I got pretty good at it. It took a while, maybe about a year part-timing it, and then I finally made that transition into like, I'm gonna do this.
So you're because we have a lot of people here that are part-time. They have a full-time job, but they part-time do real estate. Like, it's their passion. They have the entrepreneurial spirit inside of them, but they have responsibilities. They have bills they have to pay. They have things that people that they have to take care of, and so they're doing it part-time. So you did this part-time.
Yeah.
So
I basically said, I'm going to do this until I have a year's worth of my regular job saved up, which wasn't very much. And then here's what's crazy though, Brent. My first month full-time, like quit the job full-time, I did 5 wholesale deals and made $52,000, which was like twice what my job paid me in a year, in 1 month. Yeah. Now people ask me, well, do you wish you quit your job earlier? I don't know. That was just my story, my journey. Everybody's different. But when I had all of my focus on it, it was amazing what I could accomplish.
Yeah. Well, and I have a video on it on this channel about saving up 6 months of your expenses so that you can go into this, and you're not going into it with that huge fear, like, oh no, all the bills are catching up to me. I don't have enough money to cover it, and then it turns into stress, and that stress turns into some negativity that kind of boils in. So I think that's amazing that you suggested that you wanted a year's worth.
I did a year's worth, but it was like $25,000.
Yeah, but you have, how many kids do you have?
I have 9 now.
He has 9 children.
At the time I had 3.
At the time you had 3. Okay, so you obviously wanted a big family, and this helped you afford to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So you start wholesaling. What were you doing in the beginning? You said you were driving for dollars. What else were you doing? What year is this, by the way?
So this is 04, 05.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I kind of come in right at the everything started dropping. And what was crazy was in Detroit, 06 happens, I'm wholesaling all through this, and all of a sudden these out-of-staters start coming to Detroit. It's like everything's a fire sale.
Yep.
And so I start wholesaling to these out-of-staters, California, and even overseas money is coming in and buying. I called it the cheap factor. Didn't even matter if it was a good neighborhood, it was just cheap.
Yep.
So the problem was I'd wholesale one of these out-of-staters a deal, but then I couldn't wholesale them another deal until they like fixed it up and rented it. So to speed the process up, I said, well, hey, I found you the deal. Why don't I fix it up for you so I can sell you another house? Like, that was my reason for doing it, not because I wanted to rehab.
Right.
So I just by default got into rehab.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So then I started doing the turnkey thing where I'd fix it up, and then I said, well, you know what? What if I got a tenant in place?
Wait. What you said turnkey? What does that mean?
Well, so these are low income rentals.
Okay.
Right. So I would fix it up.
So this is a neighborhood where the houses are worth how much? Let's put it in today's.
Okay, at the time, 80,000.
Right.
They'd appraise for about 80,000.
Okay.
I'd buy them for about 10 to 15.
Okay.
REOs mostly.
Right.
Because now everything crashed.
Yep.
So I buy them for 10 to 15. I'd put 10 to 15 into them.
Yep.
And then I'd sell them for about 50 to 60.
So an REO is real estate owned. That means it's owned by the bank. So it was a foreclosed home. So at some point, somebody couldn't afford the mortgage. It goes back to the bank. They have all these properties. And Jerry was reaching out to the banks, getting these deals. And then you would fix them up for these people?
I'd fix them up. And then I took it a step further.
Did you use your own money to fix these up? Were you using other people's money? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, at this time, I could only keep like 1 or 2 on inventory because of cash.
Yeah. So this is your own money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I eventually started to raise money, right? Because, so I took it another step and I said, well, why don't I get a tenant in place? That'll make it even easier. Yeah. So then what I would do is I'd buy it, fix it, put a tenant in place with a property management, and then I could take it to these investors and they would just buy them.
So you got a totally renovated house. You've got money coming in from it. It's income producing because you got a tenant in there. These tenants, I assume, were screened by some sort. And
Section 8.
Okay.
Mostly Section 8.
Section 8, so guaranteed
by the
rents.
government.
Yep, okay. And then you would turn it over to an investor.
Like 50, 60, 70 of these things. I think in 07 I did like 80 of these turnkey properties where it was like all done, ready to go. Here's a tenant in place and go. 08 happens, and the problem that happened in 08 was the financing, right? So my buyers would buy them for 50, they'd appraise for 80, they'd refinance, buy another one.
Yep.
Cash out refi, buy another one. So I could sell one guy 10 houses.
Sure.
Well, not anymore.
No.
So now it was just like cash buyers. So it kind of killed my model. But I adapted quickly. I immediately said, well, I'm going to go retail. So I stopped my turnkey model and I just went into first-time buyer neighborhoods in Detroit. So I moved out of the low income, went into like the $150,000 neighborhoods.
Yep.
Same thing, bought it, REO, renovated it, a little different now because it's retail now. So I was doing granite and stuff. And then I turn around and flip it. And I'd make maybe 25 to 30 on a house. But it was all cookie cutter and it was just like a production line. As many of them as I could buy, I'd fix them up. I'd go through 2 or 3 buyers.
How are you finding these deals?
Mostly all REOs. And
so are these on the MLS?
Yeah, so my strategy was, I teach this technique still today because it works really well, as a double dip strategy.
Okay.
Where I'd go directly to the listing agent, unrepresented.
Of course.
And I'd let them submit the offer for me as my buyer's agent, so they're getting 6% now.
Right.
So then I'm getting pocket listings.
So, and I'm sure, so I talk about this on here, reaching out to real estate agents for wholesale deals that they know that I don't want any of the commission. They can keep whatever commission they have, but give it to me before it hits the market.
Right.
Because once it hits the market, you're gonna have a bunch of people.
10 offers.
You're gonna go through so much paperwork. It's gonna be a headache. Bring it to me before you do it. It'll make it as smooth and as clean as possible. You're essentially doing that to people that were getting properties that were foreclosed on, to agents, real estate agents.
Because all REOs go on market. On
the MLS.
Yeah, they go on the MLS, and there's a designated MLS. There's a designated agent that represents the bank, so it's the same agents getting all the deals. Right. So then they'd call me up and they'd say, hey, this one gets listed on Friday, give me your number. I'd submit my number. It would go, I don't know if anybody's ever seen this, it would be active at 9 a.m., pending at 9:01.
Yeah, crazy.
Because they just locked it up for me. And so that was my main strategy. Yeah. Because there was just so much of it out there.
Do you have any suggestions for what people can do now? You know what I mean? Like in some market now, Jerry's in Phoenix. Just moved to Phoenix about 18 months ago because everybody that's in these videos is from Phoenix, and every real estate person's in Phoenix. Now,
aren't all the players in Phoenix?
I guess. I don't know. But let's talk about some of the other areas. How do you take advantage of the MLS now to?
Well, you know what's crazy,
deals?
Brent? I can't believe I didn't know this until I really started putting myself out there in the community on YouTube, but. Most people don't know that you can still get great deals on the MLS because that's not what anybody else teaches. Everybody else teaches all these off-market strategies, which work.
Yep.
But the MLS to me is this untapped gold mine. If you double dip, now you have to double dip, or you're just going to be you don't have a competitive advantage.
Right. Double dip means the person that's listing the property gets all the commission.
So what it means you cannot have a buyer's agent representing you.
Right.
You can't do that, or otherwise they're going to want 3%.
Even if I have a license.
Because I'm licensed.
Right.
So I tell them, I say, hey, I'm licensed, but I don't want to use my license. Yeah. So I let the listing agent So it's dual agency is what it's technically called.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's called dual agency. Happens all the time. It's normal real estate. You're just strategically doing it.
So what are you saying to these agents? Because there's people out there that, they've never done a deal. Maybe they've done a few. Sometimes I remember from the outside looking in before I got a real estate license, which I was 22 and I did. But I remember even like higher end real estate agents, as I had a license, I was like, I feel intimidated. Like, I feel like they're going to ask me questions and they're going to feel like I'm a fraud or I'm stupid or I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, how do you communicate with them and have that confidence and that certainty? We talk about certainty and likability when we talk to anybody. How do you talk to them?
So here's what I do. Don't ever call up an agent unless you're calling them specifically about their listing.
I love
That's
it.
number one.
I love this.
Because now you can have a real conversation.
Of course.
Yeah. So
Dude, of course.
So you call up and you say, hey, I'm calling you about your listing on whatever street.
Yes.
I'm a real estate investor.
Yes.
I'm a cash buyer. I'd like to make an offer, but I'm unrepresented, and I'd like you to submit the offer on my behalf so you get both sides of the commission. How does that sound?
Yep.
And 90% of not all of them will, but 90% of the time they'll say, oh yeah, heck yeah. And then I follow up and I say, by the way, do you have any other listings that are distressed properties that I can make an offer on? And would you mind calling me on your next listing before you list it? I'll take a look at it, I'll get you my number, and we can get my offer submitted before going on market.
I love it. And I love this because when you're out there networking with real estate agents, so maybe you're just meeting them in meetup groups or you're meeting them somewhere out there, or maybe it's a barbecue or something, and you don't just go up to them and be like, oh, I buy houses, send me your deals. Say, hey, what houses do you have right now that need some love? What houses do you have right now that are like totally trash that need a renovation? Oh, I don't have any. Do you run across them anytime? Yeah, I do. Okay, listen, I know this sounds crazy, but I love those. Like, I seriously love these. I want you to reach out. Will you save my number in your phone as Brent Cash Buyer?
Yeah.
And then build that relationship.
Their cell phone. I mean, this is how powerful this is. It's never about the deal in hand. It's always about future deals.
Right.
I mean, I had an agent just call me up today, a deal that I double dipped on, but it didn't work out because I couldn't get my number. But he calls me up and he says exactly this. Hey, it's off market right now. I'm getting ready to list it. Before I list it, I told the seller I might have a buyer. Let's see if my buyer's interested. And the seller was like, great. I would love not to go on market. I'd love not to have people coming in my house. So we're talking
huge.
right now. And I ran my numbers and my formula. Brent, this is awesome. Don't you love it when this happens? I run my formula, ARV, repairs, 105. But I don't tell him 105, right?
Yeah.
He who names the price first loses. I said, what do you think they're going to want? He's like, I'm advising them to list at 99.9. I'm like, okay. We might be able to make that work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be going for 90, right? Or
well,
whatever,
the beautiful thing about working with real estate agents is they already have a number. They're not going to be like, hey, buyer, what will you give me for this house?
They've sold the seller on a price.
They've already comped it. They brought it to the seller. They said, they've already done all that work for you. And you go, you know what? That works. Do you think they take 99?
Yeah.
Or 95 or whatever, like a little bit, just so that the seller doesn't feel like that. If you take that first one, the seller's always going to wonder if they left money on the table. Right. So, I think that might work, but see if you can get it for 98 for me. I think 98 works a lot better. Hey, he wants to get 98. No, we won't budge off 99.9. Okay, great.
Fine.
Yeah. And then they feel great.
Yeah.
They feel great.
But this came from an agent on a deal that didn't work out, but because I had that double dip conversation and I said, hey, call me when you get deals. These guys are in the market. I mean, that's what they do, right? They're going to, at some point in time, they're going to come across distressed real estate.
Love it.
And you want them calling you.
Yep.
Now, I tell people, imagine if you had 25, 30, 40 agents in your market now doing that with a double dip relationship and calling you. I mean, it's really powerful.
It's huge.
And it's free.
I know.
It doesn't cost any, there's no ad spend, there's no direct mail, there's no buying data, nothing.
No, the only thing you have to do is pick up the phone and call them.
You know what? This is why I love you, Brent. I'm going to can I say this?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's looking for like the easy way out of everything, right? With digital world we live in, and I want to make money in real estate online without talking to anybody. And what I love about you is just how real you are with talking to people. Like, just talk to people. You know what's crazy is with all of the advancements in technology, there are just as many registered real estate agents today as there were 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
It's still a people business.
I know. There's more here in Phoenix.
More than there was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is more. I mean, it's incredible, and you built your whole business off of talking to these people. To pick, you weren't going directly to the seller. You were going to having these relationships. If you didn't pick up the phone and reach out to these people, I mean, people get. I'm telling you, as a real estate agent for a while, people would send you blanket emails that, hey, I'm a cash buyer. This is what I'm looking for. Send it to me. Delete.
Yeah.
Somebody calls me up
yeah.
and says, hey, I saw this listing. I want you to represent me. That relationship goes on and on and on. I sold one guy 73 properties back in the downturn when it was REO properties, when it was bank-owned properties. I mean, it was incredible.
If they don't answer, I text them and I say, hey, I'm a cash buyer. I want to submit an offer on your property at. They're going to call you in 5 seconds because they're going to see that, right? I don't say I say enough to get them on the phone.
Yep.
Because it's a relationship.
That's it. So now what are you doing? So you've taken us to, okay, you started getting
first-time buyers. Yeah.
You started getting into the first-time buyers, and at the beginning of this we talked about thinking big, right?
Yeah.
About big mindset, and Jerry is like the master at this because he kept going bigger and bigger and bigger. Now he does huge deals, and he does deals nationwide.
Yeah.
Nationwide.
Well, here's what happened. I'm doing these little flips that are making, $25,000-$30,000 a flip, and they're like, 1,000, 1,200 square foot houses, and one of these REO agents brings me this deal that's like 4,000 square feet in a part of town that's nice that I've never in. And I end up doing this deal, biggest deal I ever done at this point. Sold the thing for like $400,000. Did the same rehab I did in my other houses. It was just bigger, so more to paint.
Yeah.
But I still had to coordinate a painter and new cabinets and granite, and I still had to do all the same thing.
Still had to pick out everything.
I made $75,000 on that flip, and I had this aha moment where I'm like, wait a minute, I made 3 times as much and did the same amount of work.
Yeah.
What the freak am I doing?
Yeah.
And so that next year I did, probably a quarter of the deals the year before, made twice as much money.
Yeah.
And so I've taken that concept and that mindset of focusing more on margin than volume. And I see a lot of people do this, and it's okay if you want to be the volume guy, there's a model for that.
Sure.
And some people
You need
are really
a lot
good
of people.
at that.
You need a lot of people.
You better be a good leader, you better be able to manage people, you better be able to grow a team, right? But you can do that model well.
Yeah.
What worked well for me though was saying, how do I make more and do less? And so that's been my real focus. And so I've transitioned into higher end and higher end and higher end. And now I do multi-million-dollar deals, still single-family residential, but now they're $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million homes.
Right.
A lot of them are new construction.
That you net
up to $500,000 on one deal. Yeah, I've got 2 right now I was telling you about before the show that...
This is that thinking big part, right?
Yeah, I'm all into both of them for about $1 million, and one we're going to shoot for 1.5, the other one 1.6. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I have costs and carry.
The beautiful...
And I do these with 0 of my own money, 100% funding.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So listen, guys, because I get this a lot. A lot of my TTP family members, my TTP students, their progression when I talk to them is I want to learn how to do my first deals. I want to learn how to do it by being proactive. I want to do enough to where I'm making enough to either do this full time, and then I really want to develop. I really want to buy apartments or build or whatever, but there's a natural progression there that says if you know how to source opportunities in real estate, the sky's the limit. Yeah. You can go and you can do apartments. You can go and you can build hotels. You can go and you can do these multi-million-dollar mansions, and if you're stretching out of your comfort zone, 100%, and flexing your risk muscle. That's been the biggest thing for me is I've had to flex that risk muscle and push and get a little bit. I mean, these deals are not comfortable sometimes. I mean, some of my deals I've got $10,000 a month in carry until these babies sell. I know, and so I couldn't stomach that on day one. But I've been able to kind of build up a tolerance and learn the things I need to learn to then have those big paydays where I make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on one deal. Well, I think also you can go and you can put together a resume of deals that you've done, and now you can raise money. Yeah, you can raise a ton of money. You know what I mean? But you had to learn how to find these deals first. You had to learn how to go through all these things, how to work with contractors, how to lead people to make sure that these deals get done and that you get a profit, and you show that. And now all of a sudden people are like, I trust you. I need to do something with my money. Here you go. And you go out and you expand it for them. You know what though? Wholesaling is always the route. Yes. Is my route. And it should be for anybody. If you learn how to wholesale, this is what I tell people. You can wholesale your way out of any mess you get yourself into, and I've done it several times where I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna foot my carry next month, or whatever, or the end of this deal.
I'm gonna go wholesale a couple properties.
Yep.
Go wholesale a couple properties, now I got 30, 40 grand. If you know
See
how,
it's
it's
just,
amazing.
I'm going to just go wholesale a couple of properties. But that's because you have a network around the whole country. Because you know how to evaluate properties around the whole entire country. Talk to me.
This is something that I see so many investors try to shortcut or skip, which is learning how to evaluate or analyze deals.
Right.
They go to realtors and they say, "Can you do the CMA for me?" Right? Or do a comp report for me?
Yep.
And it's just being lazy. Learn how to comp a property. Learn how to look at distance and age of the comp and all the features that are similar to your subject property.
Give them some. How do you develop that? Like somebody's sitting there watching this on their phone right now, and they've never comped a property. They're a teacher, or they're a truck driver, or they're in the military, or whatever, and they're like, "Well, I've gone to Zillow. Is that what I do?"
So you can do it right on Zillow. I like Redfin better, but you can do it right on it. You don't need a real estate agent.
Okay.
You can go right on there. They have filters. Now, it's not as many or as good as MLS because it has more filters, but you can go on there and you can find your neighborhood. I like to stay within the major crossroads. Like, I don't like to go outside of maybe 7, 8, 10 streets around my subject property.
Yep.
Like people say, "Oh, it's within 1 mile." Yeah, but I crossed 3 main roads and it's a totally different neighborhood.
Yeah.
Stay close. My biggest thing is relevancy. What are the most relevant comps?
Got it.
If I take 5 or 6 houses that have sold in the past year, which 5 or 6 are the most relevant to my subject property? Because you can make it out to whatever you want, but you're just kidding yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You can handpick the comps that you think would work, and they're just not.
And make the values go all over the place.
Don't compare a house built in 2005 to one built in 1940.
Give me three. Give me just off the top 3 rules. So I would say you want to stay within 15 to 20% of the square footage of the house.
I usually like to go a 500 square foot range.
Okay.
So 250 below, 250 over.
Beautiful.
If it's a bigger home, you can go 1,000.
But you're saying not 500. If it's 1,000 square feet, you're not going 1,500.
Right.
You're going 1,250 and 750. So you're saying within 500.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
On most houses, if they get
because
bigger,
the giant ones that doesn't work.
Right.
But regular ones, okay.
Yep.
So 500, and what I like is neighborhood first. And then within a mile, if you're not crossing major streets and you understand, lot sizes, and you want something comparable.
You want something similar. Don't compare, a 2-story to a ranch.
2-story to a 1-story.
Yep. Yeah. Make sure and I even look at curb appeal. Like if I've got a box with nothing on it and one roof line, and then I take a comp that's got all these elevations and a 2-car bumped out.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about yourself as a buyer. A buyer's not going to say, "Oh, yeah, that house is the same as this house." They're totally different.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is just practice and looking at a lot of comps.
Yeah.
Here in Phoenix, I pay really close attention to pools. Not all markets you have pools, right?
Yeah.
Basements are a big thing. Busy roads are a big thing. These are just things that you kind of want to learn. I call them the features of the property.
A lot of my students, they wanted to take that extra level past Zillow and Redfin and use PropStream, which through ttpdata.com, you can get to that, ttpdata.com. Definitely check that out. You get a free trial to test it. But they use it to zero down, really get down,
drill down on it.
And look at the comparables.
Yeah, garages are a big thing. Make sure if you don't have a garage, you're not comparing it to houses that have garages.
Beautiful.
Or that you discount it accordingly. Yeah, so getting good at evaluating a deal is a skill that every investor, especially wholesalers, need to learn.
But I'm telling you, that is a huge, I feel like that's a huge feather in my cap when it comes to confidence. Like if I can look at a deal and tell you real quick if that's gonna work or not, right?
Yeah,
but that's only because I've comped thousands and thousands and thousands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get to hire somebody to do that on your staff if you get to that point. But I think as you're growing this and doing this, I would almost play games with it. I would almost like take any properties around. I just drive around and get 10 properties and comp them and like see what it would be, and then maybe reference that to somebody that's an appraiser or somebody that's a real estate agent and see how close you are.
Yeah, what I like to do, I don't know if you do this, but I like to get the average price per square foot of my 5 or 6 comps that I really like that are most relevant to the subject property.
Love it.
Multiply that by your square footage of your deal, and there's your ARV.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
and just get good at that and practice that.
And you've been doing this, I mean,
15 years full time.
15
so
years
like you,
full time.
You know, thousands of evaluations.
Yeah.
And I love it. I mean, I just love to look at a property and try to figure out what it's worth, fixed up.
So you really do right now in your business, you do a lot of things, but on the real estate side, because you have a lot of incredible products and a lot of things that you've developed over the last 15 years.
Side, yeah.
But you do big deals, big massive mansion, multi-million dollar deals, and you partner with people like around the whole country. So talk to everybody about that might be interested in, because here's the thing, guys, and I talk about this often on this channel. The toughest thing when you're starting out is this a deal or no deal? And then second to that is how big of a deal it is. So right. Jerry has kind of found a unique niche here. It's not for everybody, but there's certain people that reach out to you and partner with you.
Yeah, so it wasn't easy, but I transitioned from doing like my local market there in Detroit. And what happened was our family went on a 1-year RV trip, full time. We traveled in the RV around the country. And so I made this goal of, you know what, I want to try to do deals virtually. You know, it's kind of a popular thing right now, virtual wholesaling or virtual fix and flip.
Yep.
And so I started doing that years ago before it was a thing. And I got really good at figuring out how to do deals, how to look at a deal in a market I've never been in before, and figure out what the numbers need to be to make it a deal. And so now I do deals nationwide. It's got to be a deal, like it's got to fit the formula, right?
Yeah.
But I'll buy it and have a program where people can be a finder for me. And basically, I give you some tools and training and some software, and you go find a deal. You bring it to me.
Yep.
You can submit it through my portal. We do a full analysis of it, and if the deal passes, I buy it, pay you $10,000. So a lot of people love the program.
You buy it before you flip it? I mean, you like close on it?
Close on it? Yeah, because I'm going to fix and flip it. Close on it, pay out $10,000.
And then you flip?
And then I fix and flip it. Yeah.
So they get paid if they send you a deal?
Yep.
Woo!
Yep.
It's a really nice option if you feel a little bit shaky in your buyer base, or if for some reason you're not sure if it's a deal or not, they can submit.
Yep. Every deal that comes through, if somebody submits a deal, we do a full evaluation, and we give that evaluation back so that you can learn, okay, I was off on ARV, or I was off on repairs, or whatever. Here's why it's not a deal.
And there's a small, like, people have to buy into this, right?
Yeah, there's a deposit.
I don't want, yeah. This is for serious people.
Right. So basically, there's a link below.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in there, and you can go to about a 40-minute training where I go all through how it works and how you can become a finder. And then you can get started from there. Yeah,
awesome.
That's how to do it.
Where do you find is the most, is there certain parts of the country that you feel like this has been a huge impact for? You know what I mean? I mean, you're all over the place, but is it the bigger cities like a Dallas or a San Diego, or is it smaller like, you know, Nebraska, Indiana, Midwest? You know, is there any?
Yeah, we just did a deal in Indianapolis, and I had no idea. I've never been there. And I was stunned at how hot that market is, and flipping going on, and real estate just kind of booming there.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like, it works anywhere.
Yeah.
I tell people if there's houses, it works. Right? Yeah. People are living in the houses, it works. But a lot of people are in such a hurry to get out of their market and go to Phoenix, Tampa, Vegas, you know, all these really hot markets where there's a lot of opportunity, but also a lot of competition.
Sure.
And sometimes your backyard is kind of a sleepy little market that's awesome for deals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in fact, that's kind of my take on it is most of the time your backyard is a great market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not always.
So he's reaching out to everybody out there. If that fits you, check out the link below. Awesome. You know, let me ask you this question. We'll kind of wrap this up. Do you think you were born an entrepreneur?
Good question.
Because you were working in that job.
Yeah.
And you were like, something else, I can't do this. I don't. I think there are people watching this are born entrepreneurs. I think there's freaky people. I'm answering my own question. I apologize. I am. But I mean, I really think that there's people out there that watch this that are like, I want to do something else. I don't think people watch this to do one deal.
Most people that are highly dissatisfied in a job, and they keep coming back to you, and they keep coming to mind. There's something calling them. And there's this inside yearning, and I had it. All through my job, every day I hated it, and every day I wanted my own thing.
Yep.
And so I think people that have that, they just got to let go of those fears, and they just got to work towards it and get to it, because that's your calling in life, and you're not living your purpose if you're not doing it.
Yep. I love it. I've been thinking about it a lot. I think Gary V was talking about it. It's a gene or something like that. And it's been just sticking to my head, and I've just been like, and then the last thing really is, how do you go from a guy digging holes mentally to a guy that does 1,500 deals, does them nationwide, and does multi-million-dollar construction development?
Well, that's an interesting question, Brent, because I really feel like, in order to do bigger deals or more deals or wherever you're at to kind of go to that next level, it might be, getting that first deal, picking up the phone and talking to somebody, whatever that is that's kind of holding you back, it's there. It's that thing right over here. And you've just got to face it head on. And I've just always done that. I've made a lot of mistakes and I've lost money on deals. But the one thing I've done, Brent, is I've just gotten back on that horse and I've just tried again.
Yep.
And so I tell people, you're going to fail. It's okay. Just try again. You're going to fail. Try again. And the more times you do that, the faster you learn and the more you learn. And before you know it, you're at a whole nother level that you were before.
Yeah. And then I think you just stack those wins. Stack the small wins. I picked up the phone today.
Yeah,
that's a win. I dialed it.
Yeah,
that's a win. Somebody answered. All these little wins, and all of a sudden you go from digging holes to doing, building mansions, and it's on your YouTube channel. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. It's phenomenal. Flipping Mastery TV. You put out 3 videos a week. This is awesome. I love this. If you guys like the collaboration here, definitely let me know down below what your thoughts are. Give us some comments,
questions.
Any kind of questions you have, we're very active with the comments. But I love this. This has been bananas. This has been bananas. So really, really glad that you came in here, and hope to do this some more in the future. And guys, if you are interested, obviously I tell you to go out there and talk to people, be proactive, go out there and source opportunities. When you source those opportunities, if you're running into some trouble and you need some help, reach out, go to the link down below and check it out. It's a great resource, guys, for you to help you further your passion in this business, in this industry. So it's awesome. Awesome. You're the man. Awesome. Till next time, guys. You guys are the best. I love you. Go talk to people. See ya.